Great interviews shouldn't sound edited. Sloppy cuts and awkward pacing pulls your viewer out of the moment, and rather than the story on screen, your audience will feel like they're focusing on an edit. So today we're discussing the essential techniques for making your interviews look and sound completely natural, helping you to build trust, clarity, and impact with your audience. Let's take this interview here, where having chosen my favourite parts of the interview, cut out my questions off screen, and reordered on the timeline to form a cohesive answer, my job is now to make it flow. First, I focus on pacing, making the playback seem as natural as possible. You often see at the end of a soundbite, the new clip will start too abruptly, causing an unnatural rhythm that sounds highly edited.
Snatching, some bar muscle ups. There's no community like the one that you find here in Sevenoaks.
Here you can add pauses into the audio in the form of blank clips that give the interview room to breathe. Obviously this doesn't sound very good, but it will give you the pacing that you desire.
Snatching, some bar muscle ups. There's no community like the one that you find here in Sevenoaks.
Now in your original interview file, you should have captured room tone. That's the ambient sound or silence recorded at a location during production. This is great for adding in over those blank clips to avoid cuts in the audio, and they can be found at the end of your interview file or in between questions. This background ambience under your edits fills the silence and makes transitions a lot more seamless.
Some bar muscle ups. There's no community like the one that you find here in Sevenoaks.
In some cases, editors can also steal a breath, a clean inhale if you like, from somewhere in the interview that would help the rhythm feel human and intentional. There will be plenty of these in your editing, so listen through, cut out one that feels right, duplicate and drag into place, adding cross-dissolve transitions where needed.
Inject technique, some snatching.
It's also important here to focus on the cuts in your interview sequence. All these cuts can potentially be a problem where, for example, we have a change of tone, pitch or energy between the clips. A mismatch here is one of the fastest ways to make a cut feel a bit off. So if this is the case, be sure to give your interviewee enough time to have theoretically changed the demeanour. Again, adding room tone or breaths where needed. Additionally, if you have two clips where the background noise differs, this can be a distraction and mark a clear cut to even an inexperienced ear.
Got a couple of things executing better. Clean inject technique.
So use the tools at your disposal within the audio editor here to remove background noises or particular frequencies from clips in order to create that flow that's going to be as seamless as possible.
Got a couple of things executing better. Clean inject technique.
Now with all these cuts and blank clips on your edit, it's normal that there'll be some clicks or harsh edges as your timeline plays through.
Better, clean inject. Better, clean inject.
So the next stage is to use the video cut audio cross transition, which will overlap a few frames of the audio between the clips to smooth out the sound, which you can adjust as necessary.
Couple of things executing better. Clean inject technique.
Once you're happy with the pacing and sound quality, it's time to move on to the visuals, which of course will have to flow if you're going to convince the audience they're watching a fluid, one-take interview clip. Cutaways are a classic way to do this and add context to the video. Place these over your cuts to hide any edits. I always like to start and stop my B-roll either side of the cut as to draw as little attention as possible to the edit mark. B-roll also keeps things visually fluid, so I also like to add some where I don't have any cuts, which keeps the audiences on their toes and invested in your story. If you're struggling for B-roll here, editors might like to use a slight zoom to simulate a second camera angle. This can help you emphasize key points while hiding edits, all from one shot. When you think you've finished your interview edit, watch it with fresh eyes multiple times, checking you're happy with the pacing and transitions from one clip to another, while also ensuring the story visually flows. Natural edits make people feel like they're in the room with your interviewee, not watching an edited piece of media. So use these techniques to clean up your clips and your interviews will feel authentic, clear and powerful. If this video helped you at all, please give it a like and hit that subscribe button on the Create with LumaTouch YouTube channel. We'll be right here for more tips, tricks and techniques from the LumaTouch Academy.